Self-Development, Lee TV. At death's door, what the brain shows us at the end. What happens in our brains at the moment of death? Death is an inevitable part of life, but little is known about how our brains react in the final moments. Neuroscientist Dr. Jimo Borzagin is exploring this uncharted territory and making some surprising discoveries. 10 years ago, neuroscientist Dr. Jimo Borzagin was working with rats when 2 of them died suddenly. He had been observing the neurochemicals in their brains after surgery, and their sudden deaths gave him a close-up view of what was happening in their brains at that moment. Dr. Borzagin noticed a large release of serotonin in the brain of one of the dead rats, and speculated that this phenomenon might be related to hallucinations. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that plays an important role in regulating emotions, which piqued his curiosity. Dr. Borzagin spent the weekend researching related papers and realized that our knowledge of death and brain activity is very limited. Dr. Borzagin, who now teaches molecular and integrative physiology at the University of Michigan, has been studying what happens in the brain at the moment of death ever since. For a long time, we've clinically defined death as when the heart stops and the pulse doesn't return, while the heart is central. This is cardiac arrest, not brain arrest. Dr. Borzagin explains that the brain requires a huge amount of oxygen to function, and when the heart stops and the blood stops pumping, oxygen can't reach the brain. But his research has shown that the brain remains highly active after cardiac arrest, not in a state of low activity. In 2013, Dr. Borzagin conducted experiments on rats and found that several neurotransmitters remained active in the brain even after the rat's heart stopped. Serotonin levels increased by 60 times, dopamine by 40 to 60 times, and norepinephrine by about 100 times, levels not found in living animals. In 2015, he published another study of the brains of dying rats, and in both studies, 100% of the animals showed massive brain activation. This meant that the brain was overly excited and active. In 2023, Dr. Borzagin's team recorded EEGs in 4 patients who were comatose and on life support to observe brain activity. The patients were turned off life support with the permission of their families because there was nothing more they could do to help them. The researchers observed high activity in the brains of 2 of the patients, suggesting cognitive function. They also detected the fastest gamma waves, which are involved in complex information processing and memory. In one patient, high activity was detected in both temporal lobes of the brain, which is associated with empathy. Many patients who survive cardiac arrest say that their near-death experiences have made them better people. They say that their lives flashed before their eyes, or that they remembered important moments. Some say they saw a bright light, or that their soul escaped from their body and saw their physical body from above. Dr. Borzagin says an overactivated brain state may explain these experiences. Dr. Borzagin says that research into the brain's activity at the moment of death is still in its infancy, and more research is needed. However, he is clear that the brain is active even during cardiac arrest, which means that our brains have an endogenous mechanism to fight and not give up in the face of oxygen deprivation. A better understanding of the mechanisms of death will play an important role in avoiding premature death diagnoses, and future research will be key to solving this mystery. Source: BBC, Spanish News, Margarita Rodriguez. Thanks for wacting.